Hello everyone, this is Ruben, the COO of Zcoin, and I'm here today to give you some updates on our development and our strategy, especially in this bear market, as to is there anything we're doing different, is development progressing well, are we working on any other exchanges. So yeah, hopefully today this update will answer all your queries. So of course, everything has been dropping a lot, but we've actually been climbing quite well on the rankings. So Zcoin is actually doing quite well. Before this drop, we were somewhere in 110 or so, or low 100s, and now we're climbing up to rank 88. So I guess there's some silver lining, and that the more like legit projects are upholding their value a lot better than a lot of the other sort of pump and dump type of projects. So it's quite positive, and although we don't really recommend on price, really comment on price, I thought it was just an interesting thing to note. And don't be too disheartened, we're actually doing quite well. On top of that, I think one of the things that you guys may be asking is that are we working on any other exchanges? Of course, we're listed already on Binance and Bittrex, so there isn't a very urgent need to be listed on many exchanges, especially when exchange listings do cost a lot of money. And in this bear market, we're being a bit more prudent as to how we're spending our funds. Now, that being said, we're actually in talks with 2 top 10 exchanges, and we're quite positive on it. I think we've gone quite far in the negotiations. Listing fees have been agreed on. We've also spoken to our seed investors who are all on board. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we can announce these new exchange listings, which personally I'm quite excited about. Of course, I cannot share any more details due to NDAs, and we don't want to affect the listing. And please don't speculate. It still may not happen. I mean, it should happen, but you never know. Shit happens. So yeah, that's and after these 2 exchanges, if they take off, we'll probably be taking a back step from listing on exchanges, unless they have local fiat pairing, which is in line with our strategy to encourage merchant adoption in countries where you want to make sure merchants can convert to their local currency. And yeah, I guess if there are new markets, like for example, it's a good exchange in South Korea, that is definitely something we would consider as well. But we won't be actively pursuing exchange listings anymore. I honestly feel we have quite a good range of markets right now, and I think the primary goal should be to get fiat pairings, and we don't also want to dilute liquidity over too many exchanges. So yeah, that's about exchange listings. So of course, I think some of you may have noticed we were listed on Zcoin in early August, and they have a Turkish lira pairing, and with the recent devaluation of the Turkish lira, it's actually quite timely that we have a presence in Turkey, and yeah, they are actually a top 50 exchange, so they're not that small. But I know some guys are saying, why are you listing on this exchange you never heard of? And it's primarily because of the Turkish lira pairing, and we definitely want to be in the market, especially in Turkey, which has kind of like the 3rd largest population in like Europe after Russia and Germany, and has 80 million people. And on top of that, there's like 18% of Turkish people actually own cryptocurrency. So it's kind of silly if we passed up that opportunity. So on top of that, you might be wondering, how are we spending our budget? Have we changed anything given the recent bear market? As you all know, we receive our funding from part of the block reward, which is 3 Zcoin every block, which works out to be about 6% of the block reward. And of course, the recent drop in, I guess, all cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the big guys, has reduced our budget. But thankfully, we do have fiat reserves to continue paying our programmers and development and our marketing activities. But it does mean that we just have to be more prudent. And one of these things that we were talking about is not to actively pursue exchange listings. And instead of spending a lot on marketing companies and things like that, we'll probably be going to less conferences. Conferences are really expensive. Like a booth can cost like $25,000 US, and add in the travel, add in the hotels. This costs really add up quickly. And not to say that these conferences that we went to were not beneficial. We actually made a lot of good contacts and partnerships, and you'll see these partnerships over the next few months. We met pay to met through the point of sale system guys, through a conference. Even our new PR company Yup Global was also through conferences. But in terms of improving awareness, you're more reaching out to investor crowd. And actually, from a survey, Zcoin is actually quite well known in investor circles. A lot of big investment firms have actually bought Zcoin, but they're not public about it. And I don't think we should be focusing too much on going to very expensive conferences. We probably have like 1 or 2 in the US every year, but we'll be cutting back a lot. And but we'll be, of course, honoring the conferences that we've already committed to, I think, which is Consensus Singapore in September, and also Block Bali in Bali, in Indonesia, where we want to make sure that we connect with our Indonesian fans, which we have a lot, especially since we're listed on Indodax, which is a pretty, I think it's the largest exchange in Indonesia. So yeah, that's we are also going to be focusing more on content creation, like for example videos on like updated videos on MTP, updated videos on Zcoin, maybe a new video on Dandelion, which Sebastian Mack and I have been working on a new script. And we will be continuing to hire developers. So even in this bear market, just this month we've hired Andrei Bezrukov, a very experienced developer with 17 years of C++ experience. He's already diving into it. He's currently working on updating Electrum and also Bitcore to support MTP. And we also will have Putta Kunchali, who's based in, will be joining our Bangkok office to work together with Parmin Insom. And he is a self-taught programmer with 13 years of experience, and he'll be starting in September. So we're pretty excited to expand our team, and we're looking for full-time developers, not just part-time. But of course, if you are a freelance developer and you feel that you can help us out on our GitHub, or there's a little task that you would like to take up, please do just drop me an email at ruben@zcoin.io, or contact me on Discord and Telegram, and we'll be happy, as long as you can show that you can do the job. We'll be happy to accept your help, and we can definitely pay you for it. So yeah, that's basically our revised strategy. Oh, we also will be focusing on more PR. I know some of you have commented that Zcoin doesn't seem to be featured very much in crypto news media, and that's a fair point. We weren't too satisfied with the previous PR company, but we've just I think we were going to be engaging a new company called Yup Global. Yes, it's actually called Yup Global. Is I swear to you, it's a total coincidence. So Yup Global is quite a small PR firm, and it's headed by Samantha Yap and Savannah Lee. Of course, they have some guys under them as well. But they're currently the PR company for MyEther Wallet. They've also done work for NAM, so you can take a look at some of the work they've done and some of the coverage they've got. So the focus is on getting like organic articles rather than just purely relying on PR releases. And I think they've done quite a good job. The best thing is that the contract is a month to month, so if they don't work out, we can always find someone else. But we are hopeful, and we have a lot of exciting stuff that we're going to release over the next few months or so. So hopefully this new PR firm will definitely help us in getting more coverage. As you can see, there's lots of stuff, both a combination of mainstream media and crypto publications as well. So yeah. So let's talk about oh yeah, there's another thing is that some of you have asked us whether in this bear market would it be wise to withhold development updates. I mean, I don't think that's a good strategy. We should be, as far as possible, trying to stick to our roadmap and not arbitrarily stopping or withholding a development just because it's a bear market. We'll make what's the best we can do in the situation, but we're not too concerned about this. Development goes on whether it's a bear market or not. Perhaps we won't be so much in a rush to release and more time to test, but we're not going to withhold it. So it gives us time to clean up code, especially a lot of the Z-Node code. We want to make sure it looks a lot better. It's a bit messy right now, and we definitely are deploying resources to start cleaning that up. And so we're moving more to the development updates right now. I know some of you have asked about our next gen privacy protocol, and we were supposed to deliver that in the first 2 weeks of August. There's a delay. So some good news, some bad news. So the good news is that when we evaluated Sigma again, we found actually ways that we could halve the proof sizes of Sigma, and we can even do batch verification techniques. So what is batch verification? So let's say a single Zcoin span proof, or in this case Sigma span proof, takes about 0.3 seconds to verify. Without batch verification, if you have 10 Sigma span proofs, it would be 0.3 times 10, so that will be 3 seconds to verify 10 Sigma span proofs. That isn't too bad, but of course, it would be nice to have it even better, and that's where batch verification comes in. Also note that this doesn't take into account multi-core systems. So for example, if you have a quad-core system, you can actually process 4 span proofs in 0.3 seconds. So each core allows you to have much better improvements in verification speed. But let's say we have only a 1-core VPS, which is common among Z nodes, and what batch verification allows you to do is to verify these proofs in batch, and it would have a time that is less than 3 seconds for 10 proofs. So it would be more than 0.3 seconds, but it would be much less than 3 seconds. So I think this is an amazing type of scalability benefit, which Sigma both allows no trusted setup, smaller proof sizes, and with batch verification techniques, this verification time can also be brought down. The other the other things that we're looking at, for example, with bulletproofs, we looked at it quite hard. There are still ways to use it as a range proof, but as a generous ZK proof, although it initially seemed quite promising, the verification time is pretty long, and it's not as good as Sigma in verification time. So we're still looking at alternative ZK proof systems. We've been even looking at some quantum resistant ZK proof systems. So that's quite interesting. So we aren't giving up on the next gen privacy protocol for sure. But I think what we'll probably do first is we'll release Sigma, maybe with a combination of bulletproofs, to hide the transaction amounts. But we'll do this incrementally since we already have the Sigma library, and I think we can deploy Sigma relatively quickly. There's no reason to wait for the best technology. Like, we don't know what's the best technology. We should just implement the best that we can right now, which seems to be Sigma. And especially when we can optimize it to be a lot better than a lot of the than what we previously thought. So Sigma is actually back on the table, and we'll update a roadmap to reflect this. Before we want to release Sigma, Martin is currently working on completing Dandelion. So Dandelion, as we talk about, it's a way to provide transaction, like it provides network layer privacy. So it's kind of like an alternative to Tor. So what Tor does is, it hides your IP address, and it bounces for several servers so that your true IP address isn't found. While Dandelion's a bit different, it actually changes the way transactions propagate, so that even if your IP is exposed, people can't really tell where the origin of the IP is. You can actually go to a blog and read how it works. It's really, really interesting stuff. It's quite... I will probably come out with a video of this to make this more simple, and we hope to release this in a few weeks. So this is, Martin has been already moving some of the commits aren't here yet, but he has done quite a lot of work on this, and it's just primarily testing and getting the unit test to work correctly. It actually may be working perfectly already. It's just a matter of getting the unit tests to test them correctly, and so we can be sure that it works as intended. Now the next thing would be the MTP. So a lot of work has been done on MTP as well. He hasn't committed everything here yet, but so the initial problem with MTP was, although we launched it on testnet, first of all, the code was quite messy. So you can see that during this period, we were doing a lot of refactoring work, which has already been completed. So that's just clean up the code. And when Peter went into it, we noticed we had a lot of thought, because first of all, the stack usage was kind of high, and the header structure was kind of inefficient. Even the serialization made syncing MTP rather slow. So we've been doing a lot of changes, to how it works. Not really like, in terms of code, it's not going to be a lot of code, but just a lot of testing to optimize it. And Peter has promised me, within the next 1 week or so, he will deliver the new version of MTP, that we can relaunch our testnet again, and hopefully that will be the final version as well. So that's that's quite good. We just need a bit more time to iron up a few more bugs, and hopefully we can launch in September. So that's our aim. Now when we say launch, I would preface that to say that doesn't mean that it goes on mainnet, but it means that it goes into our code in the master branch, and with the MTP block height already locked in. So we need to give some time for exchanges and pools to upgrade, and I would say the minimum safe period would be 1 month from the date the code gets logged into master. So yeah, I mean, although we can release the code probably in September, sometime in September, then it'll be probably another month before it gets deployed on mainnet, just to make sure everyone has sufficient time to update and avoid any sort of mishaps. So yes, that's just what MTP. I'm really excited about that. You know, I really think it's in line with you know, decentralized proof of work and fair distribution of coins, and especially when a lot of other coins have kind of given up ASIC resistance, and I think MTP will probably, you know, throw a big spanner in ASIC development for our algorithm. Now, I also want to talk about the GUI that we've been talking about. Yin and Tyke has been working on this quite a bit. So if you take a look, you know, Tyke has been commenting a lot of stuff. As you can see, he's, you know, almost every day he's working. The same goes with Yin. You know, there's a lot of work being done here, and we're hopeful to launch, I don't know, in a couple of weeks. At least get a working version out, and we'll still be sharing more previews as we go along. I believe Ian has promised me a new update to show how a zero coin mint and zero coin spend happens, and I'm pretty excited about that, to see that, and hopefully we can share some of that pretty soon. And the last thing was a secret project that that Parmin has been working on, and this is actually already he got it all working. So what is Exodus? Exodus is actually a tokenization layer. It is based off the Omni protocol, which is currently what US dollar Tether runs on, and also MadeSafe, their token. So it's not a full smart contract capability, but it means that first of all, Omni is very, very mature. And it's by its nature, because it's a purely tokenization platform, you know, there's a lot less stuff that can go wrong, like there's no DAO stuff that can happen, or things like that. So it's a very stable platform for tokenization, and our first use case would be actually to have a Thai baht tether, which we are in the process of finalizing an agreement with a company in Thailand which has an e-money license, which would allow us to launch a stable Thai baht tether. We also have some ideas on how to use this, like, you know, to make sure that Zcoin is spendable as anywhere in Thailand, and we have some updates on that probably at the end of September that we're aiming. We're trying to integrate it into a QR code system that's used with about 40 million users, called PromptPay, and that's really exciting to me, because it would mean that you can spend Zcoin nationwide in Thailand, and merchants would get you know, Thai baht in return. They can choose to get it in Thai baht tether, or they can even get it in real Thai baht. So this is a really good opportunity for, you know, mainstream crypto adoption, especially with Zcoin. And I think that about wraps up my updates, but I do want to have a little shout out to this charity. Well, it's not an official charity, but they've been organizing fundraisers. So as for those of you who don't know, Lombok has been hit by some, you know, a string of earthquakes where, you know, a lot of people's houses have been razed down, and one of the community members' lands has actually managed to get them to accept Zcoin. So if you click here, you can actually see a Zcoin address, and you can see that, you know, there's a Zcoin address here. You know, they're legit guys. They've been helping a lot. They also post quite a lot of updates on what they're doing. So if you have some Zcoin and you would like to just send them some help, to help them rebuild toilets, showers, kitchens, and shelters, and later on if it's needed, food and water as well. So please, if you have some Zcoin, even every little bit counts. Currently, I think there's about like 25 Zcoin already donated. So thank you so much to those who have donated. It's quite nice to see that. And yeah. Oh yeah, just another quick update. On Naga DDB. They've been working on content. On like testimonials and animations and ways to make it look more, to make our social media postings more professional, and I think they've done a good job. We're still tweaking a lot of this stuff, and obviously the timeline has to be changed, but yeah, we're quite excited to finally get moving with Naga DDB. And previously, you might be asking, what have they been doing all this time? And it was basically this particular deck. We're looking at our competitions, and we also did a survey. What are we actually about? Which are the segments that we should be focusing on, which guides our sort of marketing strategy. And as well, we're looking at like different segments, what kind of content we should be doing, and that was pretty exciting as well. And yeah, I mean, this is just a very quick look as to all the work that's been done by Naga DDB. And it's, since they've already completed the strategy, is now about execution. Now on top of that, we also did a social media listening exercise with Lion and Lion, which was actually very interesting to see what people are interested in, where is Zcoin being conversed, who is our target market, Zcoin was a person, all these things. So we know how to target our ads a lot best. And right now, we've also engaged Brian Cowell and Kristen Cowell, and they've been doing really awesome work by actually, engaging people who respond to our post to like our page. And I think our page right now is about 20 over 1,000 likes, and that was from a couple of like 3,000 or 4,000 likes in a period of 1 month. So that's amazing growth. Our Twitter account is at, I think, almost 60,000. Our Telegram group through our earn.com airdrop, which we are completing the distributions, boosted of numbers from 3,000-4,000, no, actually from 4,000 plus people to about 15,000, and all these are verified users, so they're not bots. They have to be fully verified to participate in the earn.com airdrop. So yeah, we're moving forward. I know it seems a bit slow, but we're definitely making headway, and I am very excited to see how it goes over the next few months. It's just unfortunate there's a bit of a bear market, but I definitely feel that Zcoin's on the right track. And yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments in the YouTube video below, or just reach out to us on Telegram or Discord. So yes, that's all I wanted to say. And remember to, if you can, do donate a bit. I'll put the address in the description. And yeah, so have a great rest of August. There'll be a separate update from Sandra to talk about partnerships, and she'll be dressed in a Wonder Woman costume because she lost a bet. Well, if you remember in the last AMA Ask Me Anything session, where she promised to dress as Wonder Woman if we went past 5K users in Telegram. We just went past 15K. And also a quick note. I mean, I know, yes, Sandra is she's really wonderful, and she's obviously attractive, but you know, there's been some kind of like strange people like messaging in Telegram with weird requests, or you know, almost to like a stalky type of behavior, and I would like to say that that's really not tolerated. So you know, please don't be so lame, okay? And yeah. Right, have a good time, take care.